Hi, this is Holly with HPLoveCoach.
And I'm Ben with the Galahad Project.
And right now we're going to talk to you about active listening and deep listening and how to listen to make your conversations better.
Yeah, definitely. This is a really big deal because a major part of creating a connection with someone else and like building a relationship with someone else, which is kind of why we're in this thing, right? Is having conversation. Like it's the means to that end. So you really have to be able to have conversations with people if you want to build connection with them. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some ways to do that, to make sure that you're listening well to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that people do on dates, typically, you get the basic, where are you from? What do you do? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And those are great, but they're kind of more informational type questions versus that connection and that emotional type question. So those are well and good, and you should definitely do them because you want to find as much out about the person as you can. But to get deeper information about their values, their religion, their thought process, their, all the stuff that makes them unique and lovable is not necessarily where'd you come from, what do you do for work, right?
Totally, yeah. So you want to find out about like people's values, like what's important to people in life. Like figuring out like what makes people tick is really like a fun kind of game that it can be. Like so many people are worried about in conversation like what they're going to say next, and like really like queuing up the next thing, and that they're not even like really listening to what the person's saying. They're just like trying to like, I can't have there be any silence in this conversation, so I have to really like be prepared to say something as soon as she's done talking, and
then you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not really listening to what the person is saying.
Exactly, and really missing out on that opportunity for connection, which is the whole point. Like you can have a very rapid fire conversation where there's no connection being built at all, and it basically would sound like two machines talking to each other,
Yeah.
As opposed to like really trying to figure out what people's interests are, what their values are, and like why they like it and listening. So if you get really interested in who you're talking to, then you will start to notice that you don't need to worry about what you have to say next, because if you're really listening to what the other person's saying, like questions will come up, comments will come up, things that you're interested in, that they're interested in too, like will come up. So just try to be present. I guess the biggest piece of advice that I would offer anyone listening to this is just try to be present with the person when you ask them a question. Really like listen, like why are they saying, like not only what are they saying, because men tend to really listen to like for information as opposed to like listening for connection. Mm-hmm. But think like, why are they saying what they're saying? Okay, so what did they say? Because that'll give you maybe some more conversational threads that you could pull on. But why are they saying that? Like why did she say it to you? Did she say it to you because she she's really proud of it and she wants to hear how you feel about it, and like maybe would you be proud of her for that, or like maybe she's saying it because she really doesn't like something and she wants to hear that you can hear that and that you're like going to kind of take her side about it, or like whatever the thing is. But you might think like, what is the motivation for what she's saying and why she's saying it? So listening for those deeper levels I think is a really important quality.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And try to steer clear of closed questions that just kind of have a yes or no response. Like if you're on a date with somebody and you saw on their online profile that they like to play guitar or go rock climbing, and you're like, oh, so you like to play guitar?
Yes I do.
Right? There's nothing else there. You can't do anything with that. So maybe what is it about the guitar that you like to play?
Totally. I love the practice of it, for instance. Like I really like to, get into, watching my skill level like develop as I watch now. And so when I answer that way, now she's got things about me that I like. Mm-hmm. I really like. You can hear from that I like practice.
That he doesn't mind being bad at something.
Oh, totally.
Because some people really don't want to try new things because they don't want to be bad at it at first. So now I know that he doesn't mind learning something new. He doesn't mind going through the process of like challenge. Oh, I'm getting it. Oh, I'm not getting it. I'm getting it. And he doesn't get distracted by that.
Right.
And discouraged.
And maybe I saw that Holly, really likes rock climbing on her profile. So I'd say well, what is it that's interesting to you about rock climbing?
I mean, I like rock climbing because it's a full body workout. It's fun. It's in nature. It's a little bit competitive, but it's not like a team sport necessarily. I just compete with myself.
Totally. So that and she just gave me a lot to work with as far as creating more conversation, because now I can branch off into nature. I could branch off into the differences between team sports versus solo sports. I could branch off into other ways to get full body workouts where you really it's fun at the same time. She also told me that she's valuing full body workouts, fun, nature. These are things that she really cares about. So if we have conversations, first of all, I would say to myself, am I interested in any of those 4 things? Well, I actually happen to be interested in all of those things. So now we've got a very rich conversational medium that we can play with back and forth. So we can start talking about nature, oh cool, where have you been rock climbing? And notice it's another open-ended question, right? It's not a yes or no. She's going to tell me where she's been going, or some places that she's been going that were beautiful. And that
allows me to feel like I'm an authority on a subject, which everybody likes to feel, right?
Totally.
So what are your favorite places to go rock climbing? Well, why don't I tell you my experiences and I'm awesome? That's kind of what you're allowing them to do with that kind of question.
Totally. And the end result is that rather than having a stilted and phony kind of conversation, what we've actually done is really connected with each other on these things that are important to us, our values, and it lets us get this really rich conversation. So
yeah. So other ways to achieve those sorts of questions: how, why, are you?
Are you would be one of the closed-ended questions. Do you is a closed-ended question. Have you? Will you? Anything that results in a yes or no. Understand that you can ask those if you really are concerned with what they're going to say, but that's the conversation will dead end at that point if you're not also having something else. So when you ask basically the interrogative questions how, why, which, where, what, who, those questions will get you started figuring out, I don't know,
values.
Yeah, exactly, things that are important to people. So anything else you wanted to add?
Listen more than you speak.
Totally.
Listen to understand, not to respond.
Totally. And remember, for the guys out there, she's going to be listening to you on a much deeper level than you are probably listening to her. And it's really... Step up your game, yeah. It's really important that you stop listening for facts and start listening for, connection. So.
All right. Well, and again, I'm Holly with HPLoveCoach.
And I'm Ben with the Galahad Project. And thanks for listening, guys.
Yep. We'll be back.